Global warming is a key problem in our environment today. One major cause of global warming is the release of greenhouse gases. In Montgomery County, as of 2005, the three major greenhouse gas emissions are released by residential, commercial, and the highest at 34% is transportation. According to the 2010 U.S. Census, the population of Montgomery County has grown from 500,000 in 1970 to almost 1 million in 2010, which shows the increase in demand for transportation vehicles and therefore leads to higher releases of greenhouse gases. Another major problem is that world oil production will start to fall sometime during this decade and never to rise again. As a consequence, gas prices will continue to rise and never fall. This was predicted by M. King Hubbert in 1956 and became known as the Hubbert's peak theory. A great way to help in the reduction of this kind of pollution is the use of cooking grease as an alternative fuel source. Here in Montgomery County, some people have already begun to use this alternative fuel source by simply collecting leftover grease from local restaurants. A local resident of Montgomery County, George Phelps, explains how easy this is.
What I do is I take one of those buckets, I dump it into here. This is a filter, and it comes out and goes into this water heater. And then after that gets full, or fairly full, I turn it on low. So it goes up to like 100, 120 degrees and just sits for several days. And when it gets warm, the water settles out to the bottom and the oil rises to the top. And then I drain off the water in the oil. Because any oil that you get from a restaurant is going to have water in it because of like throw French fries in or anything like that. When it cooks, it gets water in it. So that separates out the water, and then I pump it off the top here with this little jobby. Put it right into the car. Yeah, well, I collect enough to fill this up, so I get like about 20 gallons. And I'll do that for like 2 or 3 days, and I let it cool down, and I pump it out, and I usually just pump it straight into the tank. So the grease goes in here. You got a separate tank for it. I can get it open. But you dump the grease in there.
Oh, nice.
And the way it works is this is a whole separate fuel system. You start the car on diesel, and then the car warms up, and the coolant that's keeping the engine cool you use to warm up the grease, because the grease has to get to a certain temperature before it'll burn, like diesel. I go over like 120 degrees. So what you do is you heat up. This has like copper tubing in it. In the bottom of it, it runs. It's like a heat exchanger, and the coolant comes back, warms up the oil, and then you just flip a switch, and there's a valve that shuts off the diesel and starts pumping the grease through the engine. And you don't even notice you drive down the street, you just flip the switch. Oh. And now diesel's like $4 a gallon. The grease is free.
The grease is free.
The grease is free. So I say that's how much I save.
George Phelps has shown us how simple it is to not only save money, but also contribute in the efforts of saving our environment. According to the Montgomery County Council, the use of biodiesel as pure fuel, or cooking oil, is estimated to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by more than 50%. This tells us that by spreading the word to get more people to use this alternative fuel source can help change the future of our planet for the better.